The Great Lakes were vital to helping win World War II. A new book from maritime author Fred Stonehouse tells the story and explains how critical the Soo Locks were during the war. Corey Adkins has this week's Northern Michigan in focus.
What I tried to do in the book, Target Great Lakes, was get away from what some of the other books have done in terms of discussing the number of airplanes that Henry Ford built, or the number of tanks that were built by GM. That's an old story, and that's all tactical in nature. It doesn't win wars. Strategy wins wars.
And one of the most critical places in this country during World War II was in northern Michigan.
Because the Soo Locks was handling 95% of all of the nation's iron ore. And iron ore is a strategic product. If the Germans, for any way, in any manner, were able to block the Soo Locks, destroy them, render them useless for a period of time, the war is won. It's over. It's done. That's how valuable that product was.
Believe it or not, around 12,000 troops were stationed in the Sioux during the war. Zeppelins circled the town. 3 airports were constructed, and radar stations were built in Canada, all to protect the locks.
A single day of operation where the locks were closed for any reason, you lost the equivalent of 60 Liberty ships of steel. That's 60 vessels that, for practical purposes, are sunk right now. And you multiply that by every day and every day and every day. Get to a month of closure, you've got 1,800 ships worth of steel that were not being produced.
But he doesn't stop there, for it also goes into the critical aircraft carrier training that went on in Lake Michigan.
Well, we had them in the lakes because of the overwhelming need to train aircraft qualified pilots. And by the time the war was done, some 15,000 or so would be qualified to land and take off and operate from aircraft carriers by using the 2 carriers in the Great Lakes, the Wolverine and the Sable.
This is one of the Japanese paper balloons, identified by the code name Paper.
He also studied balloon bombs, the Americans' top secret drone program, and many other things that would have made northern Michigan a target during that time, and how important the Great Lakes were to winning the war.
I really want them to have 2 takeaways on it. One takeaway would be the tremendous contribution that the inland seas, the Great Lakes, made to the winning of World War II. And by that I mean the waterway, and the men that sailed the waterway, and the actions and the difficulties they had to overcome, particularly with the ice. The second thing I would like them to walk away with is the absolute knowledge of the importance that iron ore meant to the victory of the Allies.
For Northern Michigan in Focus, I'm Corey Adkins.